Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda, and I thought I was done today, but apparently not. It's a collective message pulling through for someone, and I'm assuming it's urgent because I couldn't wait till tomorrow. So I don't know what this is, but let's see. It's a collective message for whoever resonates, whoever's here, whoever clicked on this video. I will describe the title based on what pulls through here, so that if you clicked on this video, then chances are you're drawn to this messaging in this timeless reading, although it does seem like something you're needing to hear right now. And it does seem to be something quite practical, but deep. So maybe practical action you could take regarding something that means quite a bit, or some advancement in something you're manifesting potentially that you're needing to know, maybe to take action on, or whether you've taken action. I'm getting a message in regards to you taking action and maybe needing confirmation or about to take action and wanting confirmation. So depending where you're on with your timeline, we'll pull the tea leaves, we'll pull some Sacred Rebel Oracle cards, we'll pull some tarot, and some cards from the Beloved Oracle. So first card we got is the Owl. Good advice from a wise person. Well, I know you're here. I'm just kidding. This isn't my advice. This is a message from Spirit. So this is tying back to, there's some sort of decision I think you're about to make. And I do feel you're contemplating. And I think maybe someone you're working with someone, so they're trying to either talk you into something, or it's in regards to whether you should trust someone here to work with them. Okay, let's pull more and see what pulls through. But the Owl does talk about experience, and so we can make decisions based on our experience. But what we find out as spiritual beings, sometimes a past experience has absolutely nothing to do with the now. And the now could be the same thing, although completely different. So but there is some knowledge pulling through, so maybe we don't know if we have enough information, because the Owl could also be reading. Maybe we're trying to investigate. Well, we have February, so confirmation for those of you guys who have either an anniversary or birthday or something significant about February could be pulling through. But this could be a very big decision that could start to manifest or show signs in February. February could be when you maybe started whatever this manifestation process is, but it does seem to pull here as an important month. So February is also the month of love, the month of heart. So it could be something that's just matters of the heart. It could be a relationship, could be just something very tied to your heart space that you're contemplating taking action on. Okay, let's see, Spirit, what is it that the collective is needing to know today? Oh, one went flying. Gracious as always. Teardrops, great personal sorrow. So this is something that's close to your heart. Maybe something hasn't worked out, or that it's, maybe you're trying to prevent some heartache, as the dog is scratching on the door. So maybe you're trying to prevent some sadness, or you have cried tears about this, or maybe you're crying tears about, what you're supposed to be doing. Let me pick up the ones that have fallen again. Sorry, I will shuffle over top of this. So I had a whole crap load fall, and I do feel the one that kind of went on its own is the one we need. So it says yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. Teardrops. So I think we're about to make a decision maybe we don't want to make because it brings great sadness. And maybe we're trying to seek advice, like, what should I do? What should I do in this situation? Because you feel stuck, or you feel really like damned if you do, damned if you don't, and sad by any direction. This February has the wind showing, so you guys might resonate with an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But the sign of air is talking about communication or taking action, you know, so doing something, speaking a truth and then taking action on a truth, or backing up your words with some sort of action that comes from the heart. I think you're really contemplating on taking action on something that you're really hesitating on and you want to make certain. Okay, Spirit, that is definitely pulling through very strong. Now these tea leaves, there's so many and they're kind of hard to shuffle. I want to drop them, so I'm just going to move this closer to me, and let's pull a little bit more and sort of dive into that, because I think Spirit was trying to lay the groundwork. So I think we're pretty accurate with that. We'll pull tarot as well, like I said, but let's ask then, Spirit, what about then this messaging that the collective needs to know if they are resonating with this message so far? What is it that the collective is needing to know? Why are we here right now? Spirits, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of the collective. And thank you so much, you guys, for viewing this reading, and I do hope it resonates for those of you guys it was intending to touch today. So we have chair, empty chair. Someone is leaving your life. I have a feeling this is you guys. I feel you guys are about to remove yourself from a situation, or you're contemplating removing yourself from a situation. Emperor is all about taking action. Emperor is divine masculine energy. Okay, so it's about being empowered, but it's doer energy, like taking action of our own life, being empowered to make decisions in our own life, you know. And for some of you guys, it could involve a family situation, because this is matters close to the heart, you know. I don't feel this is something about career. I mean, it could be if you're really tied to your career, and early family could mean many different things to a lot of you guys, but I do feel this is like, you know, like close people. So yeah, it could be work, but close people you really, really would call your family, you know, or but I feel like you're making this decision to, should you go, or how do you take action on this, speaking some sort of truth and then executing on that truth without avoiding pain, so that you do it as graciously and as full of knowledge without doing something I think you're going to regret, or without hurting certain individuals. Okay, so Spirit, can we dive into this energy then? Is this pretty much what's coming through? Can we get another card to clarify what we're seeing here? So we have an archway and March. Oh gosh, so 2 months, February, March. So we have succession. Okay, depending when you watch this video, I mean, we're approaching the new year, so those could be significant months, you know. And then the archway says new opportunities, possibilities, and pathways open. So it's like a transition period. A transition period. So some of you guys may have communicated some truth, and maybe you're contemplating the action behind what you need to take in order to make it happen for you. And so we're transitioning from where we were, which is feeling tied down or frustrated, stuck. And now we're not quite on the other side just yet. So maybe we're seeking counsel, like more information on what it is that you can do or should be doing. So we have wishbone and mountain. Wishbone says, wish will not be granted, although we don't take words so literal. And mountain, major challenge to overcome. Okay, there's major concern here. I knew why we had to do this reading today, because I feel like someone really needs confirmation or validation, because I feel like there's something that seems like it is going to really hinder your forward progress Okay, like getting in the way of you feeling empowered, and you maybe waffling on a decision or second guessing yourself or not sure if you have enough knowing that you're making a right decision. And so I feel like there's a wish you had or a vision you had of something you wanted to manifest. And I think your current situation or circumstance where you're at is seeming as though this vision or this wish is something that is unattainable, or it's no longer going to be a thing here because the obstacle is too great, too surmountable. So I'm almost feeling like a feeling of it's almost pointless or hopeless, or there's nothing I can do to overcome something that's insurmountable, like it's not movable and it's stuck here. Okay, but I feel like you are working through with this pathway or this archway. So see how this archway goes over top these two sort of more solid states. Okay, so I feel like there is overcoming this obstacle. Okay, overcoming this obstacle. I don't feel it is something we're seeing yet that we're being communicated and how to get through it. Okay, because there's a hole here, so you have to walk under this archway, and so it's like you can overcome it, but the way to overcome it is going through it. And here you're seeing it's solid, but Spirit is showing there's actually an opening to go through this obstacle to get to where you want to get to without maybe losing hope or like I don't know, giving a part of yourself or feeling broken about it, feeling sad about it. So now we want to know, and maybe that's what you want to know then. So tonight you want to know, like, words of advice then. How do I get through this obstacle? Okay, I think I'm going to put these tea leaves aside. We're going to pull tarot shortly, but I want to pull these oracle cards first before we get to the tarot. Okay, we'll leave the tarot sort of for the end to see what pulls through. So let's see, spirits for the collective here in regards to this messaging, going through this obstacle, overcoming this challenge, insurmountable challenge that the collective is feeling discouraged by. Can we dive into this energy, please, and communicate what they're needing to know right here, right now, Spirit? Thank you so much for this message. We're so blessed to be here. Help me to channel this message clearly and concisely. Okay, so we have perception. Okay, so our understanding of something is actually skewed. And so therefore it seems like the mountain. It's not the mountain. So it's already confirmed that maybe you're making mountains out of molehills. Okay, or yeah, for sure. There's something here you're seeing as an obstacle. So one, just know, take away that it's not something that is insurmountable. And then she's looking through something. So there's that hole again. But you see the intuitive eye. So it's like the intuition is the way through. So like we talked about in many readings, but I think it came up in earlier reading today with the Jesus readings, was the intuition is coming from heart and straight from source. Okay, and so it's never askew, it's never an illusion, it's always based on truth. The intuition is truthful with a capital T. It's not our truth, it's not relative truth or our perspective, okay, based on experience with the owl. It is divine truth, and divine truth doesn't rely on anything to support or sustain itself. Okay, the truth is the truth. Whether people understand it, believe it, see it, are blind to it, accept it, the truth's the truth's the truth. Okay, so there is a truth, and the truth is your mountain is actually like an archway that you can go through, and the only way to see it is to use your intuition. And when the intuition is blocked, it is blocked because of past experiences that skew our lens. And so any feeling of I can't, I'm lacking, I'm sad, it will be this, that's not good, I contract, I don't feel empowered, I don't feel confident, or whatever that feeling is where we're feeling small, we know then the lens we have is the lens that isn't coming from intuition. Okay, because intuition is sort of a soft knowing. It has no feeling of pull at us. Okay, so it's not urgent. It doesn't make you react. It doesn't make you contract. The intuition is just the silent voice that's very quiet. And why we can't hear it most of the time, why it takes a while to develop the intuition, is because the mind is very loud. The fear is loud. The need for outcome is loud. The desire is loud. And this is all perception. Okay. And so there's a need to clear the lens, and then the intuition will guide you straight through. Like I'm seeing crystal clear. You'll be guided through. It'll be like a knowing. There is no second guessing. There is just a flow. Okay. There's no hesitation. There's no resistance. I think you're going to see right through this. Okay. So yeah, we're not seeing. And then we had here promise. So did this come up? I must be dreaming. I thought this came up at the beginning of this reading, like to trust someone. Yeah, it did with the owl, like seek good advice, like someone's trying to convince you of something, I said. I don't know what this represents. This could be your inner self, or someone you're talking to, or an advisor, a counselor, or just someone you trust or not sure if you could trust, or the situation is shoddy or something, like you think it might be untrustworthy or you need more. This looks to me like a gentleman's agreement, like that's an old term, but I don't mean to offend anyone. If you're offended, probably shouldn't be here because I'm not always very agreeable. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, maybe we need to buck the system a little bit. Maybe we have to speak our truth in some way, even if it offends someone, with the wind, coming through. What card was that? February had the wind, which is speaking a truth that is clear. It is clear. It's not skewed. It's very direct, as long as we know that it's coming from truth. If we have to defend something, then it isn't based in truth. If we have to prop it up, then we know it's an illusion. If it requires something else to sustain it, it's not the truth. It's our fear. It's based on perception. It's based on projection. It's based on illusion. Okay, because the truth stands on its own. So I feel like there is some internal thing you have to have buy-in within yourself to agree to a situation or to take action on something here. Okay, with this promise. Okay, so, and then we have act of love, self-care. Yeah. So act is, again, that emperor taking action, being empowered to do something. But because it's a self-care, the best thing you can do out of love is to take action on your own self-care right now. Okay, so what does that look like? Does that mean I'm being mean to everyone around me because, that because what I'm doing here is like, I don't know. I feel like our lens is skewed. Like we have to maybe start from the inside and say, what are all the things that matter to me right now? And what is it that's going to be the most loving thing I can do for myself? Not in conjunction with this situation or this person or whatever. That would be too muddied. It's like right now for myself, only for myself right now. What is it that I'm connecting to that would be what I want to manifest for me? That's the most loving self-care I can give to myself. What does that look like? Okay. And that is an inward thing. And so I think that's what we're needing to do, because I feel like we're externally looking at other people in a situation and saying, how would my action impact that situation? And I think that's getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. We're not being asked to, how would this impact said person, or how would this blah, 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 like 2 steps forward, like, or two spots removed from me would be your own projection of what you think would happen or what could happen, or and that's just fear, and that's not living here in the present moment. So I feel like there is some sort of neglect, and there's some sort of need to be your own best friend with the shaking hands. You need to do something for your greatest good right now, and your inner self is saying, I Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys. Sorry, now I'm getting teary-eyed. Your inner self, the self that's neglected, the self that needs self-care. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was just texting about this. I know maybe it's a message for me as well. I'm part of the collective here, but it's like, you know, like my self-care matters, you know. Yeah, and I was even commenting with one of you guys about this, you know, like we're always willing to do the best thing for everyone, you know. And that's great. That's awesome, and we should, you know, but we can't be externally driven from how's it going to impact out there, you know? Like the most loving thing right now that I can do, and that still remains true, is what's going to be loving right here in the moment, you know? And it has to start from within so that we can be able to impact everyone and everything around us. So your inner self is this promise, okay? And it's a promise that you got yourself, like you have your own back. You're not going to betray yourself, okay? And betray self means going along with someone else or playing small or putting yourself as a non-important, you know, or like, I don't know, secondary or like whatever. Like, no, your inner self is saying, I have you, I got you. Make this decision that's out of love of self-care, okay? And that's the best thing you could possibly do. So we're going to pull one Sacred Rebels and then some tarot, because I almost feel like this is complete, but you know me and making sure that we got everything we need here. So Spirit, this is a beautiful message of self-care and confirming a decision, but I feel like maybe we need to button down then a little bit about this decision or get a little bit more that I might be missing here for the collective. Thank you so much for this message. What is it that the collective needs to know then about this? Is difficult to get through this mountain. Okay, but yeah, the mountain is it. In order to get through, we have to remove the filter, and the filter is what about all those external people and things, and no, it's back to self, back to self. So back to self is going to allow the intuition to see through the obstacle or the big challenge that we're facing. So we have inner trust, you guys. You saw me shuffle these cards, okay? I'm always like just blown away, you know, by Spirit. Inner trust. So your inner self is saying, I got you. Like, I got you. And maybe we feel like, you know, people don't have our back, or why don't people have our back, or I don't know. Like, it's external though, and that's the perception that needs to be sort of looked at, because that's not the truth. That's not the truth, okay? We might have carried that thinking and carrying that sort of a belief, but the truth is always the truth, whether we see it, don't see it, or have different dogmas or understandings. It doesn't stand with the owl. I think you have an understanding of what it means, you know, and really the truth is you have your own back. You're strong enough to make decisions, to trust yourself, and that is actually what's going to work for you. Like, that's going to get you the outcome you want. Yeah, like this isn't compromising your outcome or not getting the manifestation and saying like, I'm just going to find inner strength to be happy with the sadness, or be strong enough to overcome the sadness. Or it's like, no, it's like there is nothing to be sad about, because you're manifesting this. Like, you're actually gonna get there, you know. But why we're feeling the way we're feeling is because the lens is skewed and it's seeing the situation, so it's creating the tears. Oh my goodness. Spirits are really hitting hard here. Yeah, with the tea leaves, we had the tears. And so I feel like you're sad, you know, or like you're feeling discouraged because I see this big old mountain, and how the hell am I going to get to the other side? Okay. I always say as a tarot reader, you know, it's like, I don't want to cry anymore. But some readings, and I don't know, today's one of them, you know, it's like sad. But it's good. It feels right, you know. It's like tears of like I could see now, you know. I just had to remove the particulate from my experience that's obstructing my view, so that you can see. Because I think intuitively you already know that love wins. You already know that if your heart's in a good place, that you're going to manifest what you want. That's already That's how it works. You're the creator. You manifest. You know, you're always manifesting. That doesn't change whether you're in a good mood, bad mood, or whatever. You manifest based on your state, you know. So that is the law, God's law, your creator. And what you're going to create here is getting through that mountain to the other side based on clear intuition, based on clear guidance, and based on a more cleaned up understanding rather than a skewed perception that you might carry of an understanding about your situation, because it's not true. It's not true at all. Okay, so now we need some practical guidance then. After you made me cry, Spirit, thank you for that. What is it that we need to know? We want some takeaways here for the collective in regards to this truth they have to speak or take action on. We got to maybe leave a situation with the empty chair. Okay, we'll review these three. We have the Six of Swords. Yeah, get out of a situation. So we're in a situation that we're just not happy, you know? It's now, Six Swords is slow moving energy because we have pain, but we're still moving with the Five Swords through the sea of turbulency. So maybe this situation is being carried through to calmer waters. Maybe there is no abrupt decision so much as the decision to allow things to flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see really any abrupt cutoff or anything, and we're still moving with this. So I'm not saying you have to bring the challenge with you, but know that the situation that you're dealing with will get better. And the way to ease it and get it to move is to change your perception so that we don't suffer and we're not sad when we're moving in the turbulency. But we are getting out of that state into calmer waters by allowing our intuition to pull us forward. Okay, so let me stare at this thingy before we get the other cards. So we see, looks like a monk of sorts meditating. So we need to get still. And just like particulate, when you have, you know, a glass of water with a whole bunch of gunk and you sort of shake it and it's all floating about, and if you leave it and you let it get still, all of that noise, the particulate settles to the bottom. That's like your mind. So we have all these thoughts, you know, it could go like this, it could go like that, and it's like on constant sort of speaker. We need to get still, because in order to clear the lens and clear that perception for the intuition to shine through, because that's what's going to guide us through the six swords out of, I don't know if I was saying six wands, but six swords out of that situation. And so six wands is victory. I think you want victory. And I think wands, the Six of Wands for me, like I read, is ego, you know, and so the mind is ego. When the mind starts to tell other stories, such as whatever, you know, like the mountain is a mountain, or this, that, and the other, those are all experiences that we're speaking from, which is the egoic belief that something is set in a certain way, and that's untrue. That's not the truth. It's been our experience. So we experienced something, but that was pretty much it, and it is in the past, so it no longer exists, whatever that thing is, right? So we're moving out of turbulent waters. We need to get still. That's practical advice. Meditation, silence the mind, you know, and I know we always hear that, well, you silence the mind. It's like, it does take practice, you know, but commit to it. I assure you, like, I don't know, I probably, you know, a couple of years ago have a video where I was saying, well, I can't really meditate or breathe when I meditate, or I don't know, whatever it was. And now it's like, I crave to just meditate and get my mind in silence. This is too noisy and loud, and I can't feel myself think, you know. So stay on it, because we've all been there, you know, at that point where it's just really difficult. And so for those of you guys who are meditating, it's like, that's when the clarity is going to come to you. The intuition is going to be very sort of quiet, but an inner knowing of direction, because I think you need direction, you know, to feel comfortable. It's like, okay, I feel comfortable, or at least I feel like I'm moving. I don't feel like stuck. I don't feel behind the obstacle. I don't feel like I can't get through. And that's a perception, is like, I can't get through, I'm going to be stuck here forever, or I can't, overcome. And it's like, no, the archway, you're getting over, and the way to get over it is through it. Okay, so getting still. Now we have the Two of Sacred Circles. So this is about a decision, you know, going back and forth, trying to decide what to practically do. But it's also the turbulency. So we got turbulency twice. So maybe we've been up and down, you know, in that situation. So it's like, oh, just when I think it's up, it's down. And then, but I think it's testing you in some way, you know, and we don't like to think, well, the universe just testing me for fun. It's like, no, it's like a test because it's spiritual growth of how do we get still during a period of turbulency? And is this really what you want? And so the universe is like, we create the turbulency for you to find the intuition. You know, we create the noise so that you learn how to tap into that intuition so that it's there, and you ascend and you get more connected to the intuition and pull at it like a tool in your toolkit, you know, in your arsenal, so that you can always tap into that when you're needing to. But if we don't develop this, then we sort of stay stagnant. So I think you're developing intuition, and you're developing how to stay balanced in a situation that might be very turbulent, up and down, and maybe even in your own like back and forth. So that was that gentleman's agreement, you know, or like sticking to your own thingy. So we're not just going along with what, you know, what's expected of us, or the self that has the wrong perception. I say wrong, it's not really wrong, it's more of the false perception. You know, our perception is really false. It's not in line with the universe and the truth. It's something we concocted. Okay, and so the thing we concocted is real to us, you know, but it's not the truth. And so the truth here is that although things are up and down, you're gonna get through. Okay, and so I feel there's a decision. And look, there's the bear, and what the hell is this? Someone wearing a bear's, I don't know, a mink hat? A bear, which is, the bear could represent the emperor, which we saw. And the chair had no emperor in the tea leaves, because it was someone leaving a situation, right? Which I said, I think it's you. Like, so here now the emperor is without the chair. The emperor stood up and is taking action. So yes, take action. Okay, bear is also like could be quite like aggressive energy, you know, like fix like the mountain. And this person, the mink hat, I say mink because it looks, but the same color as the bear. It's around the head. There's more I need here for this, but it's almost like a piece of that is within your knowing. I don't know what that means. A piece of that is within. Okay, let me pull some more, but we still have one more card here. The moon. So this is the perception. So Spirit is saying fear is based on no truth. Okay, that's something we concoct. A vision we might perceive in the future is just the perception. It has no bearing on the truth of a situation, which could go 50 different ways. Okay, and so we're not seeing something clearly. We already talked about this. This is confirmation, okay? And this is also representative of the divine feminine, emotions, but it's also, I'm getting like reflecting something in a different light. So I don't normally read the moon like this in my tarot, but you know how the sun, I always talk about, it's like highlighting or like shining the light, is like brightness, we can see clearly. I think there's something in the moonlight here that would normally be scary and cast shadows, but in this case it's like see it from a different light, see it from the moonlight to see the reality of it. Oh, okay. So maybe, I don't know, maybe, you know, you're the type of person who's very fixed in how you see things. Like it's sunlight, it's bright, it's clear, and so if it's clear and it's bright, then that's sort of the answer. And it's like, if this is different and it's not in the sunlight, and now I'm looking at out of this moonlight reflection, But what Spirit's saying is, I think this is how you're going to see what you're needing to see. And so if we get still and dive into this subconscious, we're actually going to see the truth from a different light that we're not used to, which is the intuition. Yeah. Okay. So something's unclear, I think. Okay. I'm pretty sure in this reading, something isn't crystal clear to you. It's not certain. Yeah, it's not Emperor, because Emperor is certain, taking action, clear, concise. This is like back and forth, turbulent, two pentacles, uncertain. So we're going to solidify by getting still and going into the intuition. And what you're going to confirm is actually to go through something and take action. Okay, like take action. Like for sure you're having to take action, but I don't know. There's something about this bear on your head. Okay, so let's see. Why is the bear on your head? I'm going to clarify why we're wearing the bear fur. Although I'm going to show this to you. This might mean more to you or someone here. Okay, like the bear doesn't have a tail like this, right? Bear's tails are tiny. So this is obviously like a minx hat, but it's the same fur as the bear. I don't know, I'm still hung up on this thing, but the head is representing like, you know, getting downloads, working with the divine. It could be even our third eye or intuition, like working with the spirit. Okay, and the bear, does he have a book? No. Does he have a book? Well, it looks like a book. It could be the bear's chest, but the book is tying me back to the owl, which is all about knowledge, knowing, wisdom through an understanding. And sometimes there's book knowledge, and then sometimes there is intuitive knowledge. So I think, I don't know which is which, but Spirit is saying the knowing that you seek is the intuitive kind. And although this book looks open, there's still intuitive tapping into the divine knowledge that we need to do so that we can move. Yeah. So we might have beat our heads up against the wall here with, I don't know, like sun knowledge, right? Like the clear stuff, like it's knowing. You know, when I read a book, it's like 1 + 1 is 2. You know, that's knowledge that comes to us through intellectual understanding. And I think you've done this, but now it's like, okay, well, how do we put words to spirituality and things we can't really explain into words or put into books? That is what we get when we're still, and that's the peace that comes to you that allows you to move through that mountain. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so that's good. The moon, so we have Pisces and Cancer and Aries with the Emperor that was pulling through. Spirit, can we do like a final message here? Anything I'm missing for the collective? What do they need to know right here, right now? What is this message for the collective? Thank you so much, Spirit. What are they needing to know about this message for the collective? Any questions they still have? Anything I haven't answered or understood in this reading? Clear and concise message, Spirit. Thank you so much for this message. So I do feel one more. Okay. We have the Ace of Cups, new beginning. This is an emotional new beginning. So we have the moon, which is also about emotion. So like we started off talking about, it's tied to your heart. Okay, like obviously this is a personal sort of, all your readings are really personal to you, but I feel this is really, really emotional to you, like very deep in your heart. And I think this is why this reading had to come out, because it's all about yourself and your emotions and how it makes you feel, you know? And I think you really need to hear that you have someone in your corner. And I really feel that your inner self is in your corner here and totally giving you buy-in and completely saying, hey, like, I love you, you know, and I trust you. And you're not going to sell me out. You know, you're not selling me out. Like, get through this, get still, lean into the intuition so that you're guided more clearly and you don't have to suffer, be sad or second guess. And then you'll have this beautiful new beginning here. Like, this is beautiful. Okay, overflowing Ace of Cups. The Empress, you guys, look at this, divine feminine, okay, super abundant. So you don't have to be a feminine here so much as the feminine is given up to the universe to open the heart and to trust. And she is able to move with love and knows her self-worth. So she has no problems doing this act of love, self-care. Okay, so this is what we're learning. It's like, me, how can I be abundant? And look, she's in her chair. So we had the emperor's chair empty and the bear out of his chair. And we have the empress, and she's sitting in her chair, just absolutely beautiful. Okay, she's not even getting off her chair because she's already done the work, and she's like, I don't need to prove anything or anyone. You know, she's already whole and complete and completely there. So Spirit is saying, you need to take action. You need to be empowered to do what you can do and trust. If it's based on your own self-care, giving love to self, knowing your self-worth, once you go through the mountain, here's where you're sitting, knowing your self-worth, sitting in abundance. Okay, but we're on a journey of getting here. And so we need to get out of we got to get out of the emperor chair to take action in order to then be able to give and receive love. You know, and love doesn't have to necessarily be like an intimate romantic partner so much as it is how we connect, like really connect with people. Like it has to come from a flow state, you know, not a superficial, not a state of seeing what we've always thought was connecting, or I don't know, one understanding we had. Like, no, we're going to get to this state, and then we don't have to, you know, be seeking or running out of our chair or doing all sorts of things, right? But right now we have to get out of the chair to go through the mountain and the obstacles so we can navigate through. What does it look like when I feel intuition? What does it look like when I'm clear of my particulate and all of this, you know, like distorted perceptions that I might carry of myself, or how I'm engaged with external situations or people, because I'm more focused on that, you know, that is external rather than that which is internal. So all of these things we're sort of navigating, but this is like the desired state. And I think this is where the other side of the mountain is you knowing your self-worth, you not having to leave your chair in order to be in the flow state of giving and receiving love. So we have Taurus and Libra energy, and she's absolutely beautiful, and she's still wearing the crown. So she's still empowered to do what she needs to do, but she doesn't need to do much because she's already gone through the lessons of life here. Yeah, beautiful. And look at the waterfall in the background. So that air through February was coming through. And I feel this is allowing the emotions to come out, to communicate what we need to and take action when we need to, and not to be concerned that it might be too, you know, too forward. Like that bear is like, you know, it does what it needs to do. And a bear isn't going to outwardly, maliciously want to injure people just for fun. The bear only knows what the bear knows, you know, and so it's going to protect itself, and it's going to do what it needs to do in order to get there. I think this is what it's telling you. Like, don't spend too much time concerning, you know, maybe this, and I know this is kind of opposite from my readings, and maybe you've been here listening to my readings, you're like, Linda, but you say like I'm supposed to give love and blah blah. This is, yes, be loving, yes, be compassionate, you know, but to yourself, and allow yourself to communicate. You know, we don't have to say, well, my truth is you're an asshole, or you blah blah blah. Like, there's no need for any of that. But it's like, the truth is how you're feeling, and that's valid, you know, that is valid. So, but we need to connect. I think this is the part where we really need to understand our truth is not the truth. And so use the intuition to make sure you're seeing the truth, not your own truth based on a perception of a fear because of the moon. And so we had some experience with the owl that, you know, we had some experience. And so we're seeing things skewed, but it's like, no. Sit with the intuition. Make sure your perception's actually clear, coming from the intuition, not from fear or like an urgency, but a calm intuition after you've been still, and then let her rip in a nice way. But there's no limitation to this. This is the truth. So the truth can flow, you know, as much as it needs to. There doesn't need to be a restriction on the truth. The truth is going to flow. And I think you're being told to act and talk in truth and let her flow. So the last card here is the 10 swords, because we got 3 with this tarot. So this is all about an ending, closing a chapter, putting an end to something. Okay, now I feel like with the 6 swords, there is a situation. Some part of it is very unpleasant. It's 5 swords. It needs to end in order for there to be the Empress state through the mountain. Okay. And so the perception needs to change. We need to close out. And I think a part of the situation that needs to close in order for it to get better or for you to move through, you have to take the action to close it out. So that's the Emperor. Your decision, close it out, end it, put it behind you. Okay. So it doesn't mean, again, that cut off. It just means that state in which we're interacting, that energy in which we're inputting into this relationship or this situationship or this experience, and that, and then we see a transition, and if you end that, it may be a whole end to a situation completely, but I don't feel that is, or else we'd see the death. Okay, this is 10 swords. This is more like circumstantial. It's like the energy here that's not serving me, which is definitely a perception, my understanding of something. It's creating all sorts of fear, suffering, okay, because this is a card of suffering. I don't care what anyone says. If they want to read 10 swords, like, it's not like, sometimes you get 10 swords. This is a little more peaceful, but when you see swords, and here you see swords, and swords are in this person. There's no making it peaceful, so I think that the ending here is what's going to allow there to be freedom. But instead of you being the person down there, I think you're the person that has the swords. But I think you feel like this person because I think you have a very beautiful heart, So you don't need to feel like this person. You don't know what this person's going to feel like. Okay? The act of self-love, when we clear a perception, is that we're here and we're doing an act of self-love. And so we might be seeing it as this, and it's not true. All we're doing is alleviating ourselves from suffering with the truth. Okay, with the truth. So we'll know what we need to kind of close out or put behind us based on stillness, based on clearing the distorted perceptions of past experiences or what we think is to be true. And how we'll know it's intuition is when it comes from the divine, it is always expansive. Okay, it always feels expansive. It doesn't make you feel threatened or any of those feelings. Those are always coming from skewed perception. So we feel, we could certainly feel like it's not going to feel good, having to maybe speak this, but it still feels more expansive because it's aligned with the truth. And so the truth is the truth. It feels good to get it out, even if the words are maybe sometimes a little challenging to hear, but it still feels good. It still feels expansive. It still feels like something's being liberated or freed or closed, like that you can't make up. And that doesn't need any supporting. Like I said, the truth stands on its own. If we're needing to fight, resist, hold up, and create all sorts of energy in order to sustain something that's based on faulty ground, it's not a truth. So I feel like we got to just close out the illusion, and then all we're left with is the truth, and then we're able to move forward and through that mountain. Okay, beautiful people, this is your message. I love you guys so much. You guys made me cry twice today. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's like the energy and the planetary shifts that we're experiencing. I know some of you guys have been experiencing that too, but my heart is with you guys. I feel you guys. I love you guys. I like to hear from you guys. And like I mentioned in my last video, there's going to be quite a bit of changes here in this channel I'm working on, but a lot of it is a surprise. I will be leaning on a lot of you guys to see what it is you guys want to hear and see, and implementing some changes as we sort of go through to really narrow down who wants to be here, what sort of community we want, what we want to attain here, because I know I've been a little scattered trying to find my footing, and I just feel so passionate about love in so many different ways, but anyway, enough about that. I do love you guys very much, and I hope to see you guys again. Okay, bye-bye.